Nations map choice, but they are down a map. They desperately need to take this map. They need to take it to either side of Oregon, or else they will fall. They will not be rising up.
Bit of time being considered over this first attacker ban from OrgLess, and it's going to be coming out as the Glass.
Again, coming out from OrgLess, pretty standard coming out from them. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really much to say about that. It's a very, very default ban, especially coming out in Villa, where you can play a Glass very, very aggressively. You can take a lot of control. You can kind of play in that rogue secret playstyle where you smoke out the entire site and you just put Glass in the middle and just kills everyone because it's Glass, you can see through smoke. So we'll see how that goes down, and we'll see how that plays out as Rise actually ban out the Maverick here. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because it is a bit of an interesting ban, but I will say, for a Vault take, especially on this map, obviously, because Vault is the only site here, but that Vault rotate, if you cut that off with a Maverick, it completely destroys you. And in fact, that Maverick is almost completely silent. You're not going to hear that. If someone's playing an Echo in Vault, and all of a sudden Maverick opens up behind you, you can lose a lot of operators. So I like the Maverick ban there. With the Echo ban coming out here from Rise, and OrgLess are going to be given the final one here. I'm kind of expecting the Maestro ban here from them.
Yeah, I think Maestro holds a lot of value on Villa. Although, there we go. We're going to be proved wrong. We're going to see the mirror ban. Well, it'd be nice to see where the Evil Eyes get placed, I guess, because I think that the Evil Eyes certainly hold a lot of value on Villa. There's some interesting spots that they can be placed, and it just forces the attackers to expose themselves to deal with them a little bit. Another good piece of information gathering. But yeah, the Echo and the mirror ban. It's a shame we can see the Echo ban. I do quite like the Echo on Villa, but like you say, Glass is just so powerful on this map. It really is. No shock that that he's not been allowed through.
Yeah, no, it is a bit of a shock, but we'll see how it does go through, as we'll see round number 1 getting underway. And the Legion obviously getting taked. I'm kind of surprised a little bit that there's no shield coming out here from Rise. Just because shield's very, very powerful here. Of course, there's a Legion on the play here, so it's not going to be too good. And, I mean, if you're going to take a shield player to somewhere, taking them to Villa is not that bad. While shield can be very, very dominant, Legion can be very effective as well. There's a lot of short corridors where you can put a Legion Mine really far down. And I was talking to Milosh's chat on his Twitch stream earlier about this, in that if you get Legion Mine in the middle of a hallway, most players will pull back and they'll try and get the Legion Mine out. You're wasting so much time doing that, especially if you're playing a shield and you're trying to cover up, because then every one of the attackers has to go out that hallway as well. So if you get Legion Mine, really, you ought to just push and kill whoever's waiting for you on the other side of that Legion Mine.
Yeah, it's a difficult sacrifice, because the instinct is to stop taking the damage and to get it out so that you can move at your full capability. But this is the Maestro cam that I do really like. The Evil Eye there placed above the hatch, and then the hatch destroyed.
Well, I also quite like on the very opposite side of it. Yeah, yes, he's going to do that one. But if you do on the opposite side as well, it can be a bit hidden. If you open up the bookcase a little bit, something that Ents like to do, and you can actually put the Maestro cam in there as well, and that can be quite hidden. It also does give you a bit of good opportunity to abuse any Montaigne that might push down the hallway, which is a pretty typical push. But we're going to see Hyper on the Ash. He's going to move all the way through onto main entrance and quickly make his way on to the south stairs. And yeah, he's already doing work. Taking out Legion Mines, putting down flank watch drones as well, and making sure that no one can push this hallway. So this is looking like a steady take coming out from Rise.
Study take, Glass is always very powerful on a study take, and that's possibly one of the reasons why he was banned. But Hyper there going to be just maybe peeking out onto 90. Probably can't quite see that the Maestro playing at the bottom of 90 corridor there. I think the Lantern may just be in his way, but some hanging baskets off the wall, I guess, are going to get shot, and that's going to give Hyper all the information that he needs to just not peek that just yet. England there just trying to find a nice small angle there through the site with a little bit of a Hibana hole that he's made, and it looks as though full study control has been gained there by Rise, and they're just sort of taking the time now and doing some good drone work to figure out where the rest of this push is going to be coming from. Vandal there putting a little bit of pressure onto Vault window. If he throws a nade through there, that would be a pretty easy kill there onto the Maestro that's playing down at the bottom of 90.
And there's no Jaeger on the board either coming out from OrgLess, so that would be a very easy nade as well. But I think Rise are very concerned with the fact that all they need really is just control. Hold down onto the hallway, do what they can there, take out anything they can, and Hyper has the flank watch drone as well. and then just take Study instead. They don't even have to push the Maestro out of it. And see Hyper is just laying down into this area. Oh, the impact trick from Acid, that's beautiful. He's to be able to do what he can there, but Yeti is going to take up Vandal, but he's going to actually get 2. Hyper goes down as well, but he does get traded out instantly by the very same attacker that he just killed. Now it's a 3v4, looking pretty good for OrgLess though, because Yeti takes out 2, and that's book off the table as well.
Yeah, Yeti's done a great job there, wasting a lot of time just by holding that 90 corridor. All it needed was the Maestro, obviously, the Evil Eye, and to be able to hold it in that way, just, you know, totally cut down Hyper's push as Ash, and really rendered Ash pretty useless in that scenario. And the smoke grenades now are going to start coming out. Final 20 seconds on the clock. My man holding an angle onto East Stairs. Oh, England does manage to find his head, though, making that a 3 versus 3. Brian has got no smoke grenades left. Does put a little bit of damage there. Friendly into Crazy as he picks up the kill onto Ghost. Crazy picking up another one onto Beastly. England getting the kill back onto Crazy. All the defenders have got to do is stay alive at this point. Brian, they're going to peek out a vault, pick up the final kill, and take out England. First round there going to be going to OrgLess.
A quick test of the CP coming out from Brian there, of course. No toxicity. No, none of that. Yeah, obviously. As we're going to move into round number 2, really good job from OrgLess to completely shut down the attack. It was almost a great rotate coming out from Rise because they came way further into the site than I think OrgLess expected them to be able to get control of, and England almost clutches that through. Unfortunately, gets shut down. And I think a lot of that came out from aggressive peaks coming out from OrgLess right at the last second with the SMG-11s, which are very, very effective up close. And again, though, from Rise, they wouldn't have had to do that rotate if they had dealt with Yeti earlier, or they had just not pushed that hallway and just smoked out and pushed that way, because I think that would have been a lot more effective, honestly. They could have dealt with the Maestro on the site, and they could have pushed that way instead of trying to push out 90, not from below.
Yeah, I think it maybe comes down to a little bit of time management again, and it's something that we did see Rise suffer with on Border, is they just don't quite leave themselves that much time to execute in those final few seconds. I think what they end up doing at like between 20 and 40 seconds is maybe something that they should be doing at between like a minute and a minute 20, and just trying to speed up that process just a little bit to give them more time in that late stage, because they do just end up running out of time, and that's why they have to peak and make the mistakes and stuff like that. But ultimately, OrgLess are doing a great job of wasting that time and making it so difficult for them to gain any control, and they're really having to change up what they're doing on the fly.
This is kind of what I was talking about before with the Maestro cam normally going down here, but you can put Falcons on as well. What Man is going to do, this is normally fairly aggressive from teams, that they'll try and hold on to sort of the bar gaming area for as long as they can, and then slowly rotate back and normally reinforce the wall. And it looks like we are going to see that coming out from OrgLess. They normally play Elysian fairly aggressively there as well. I have seen Frost used here as well in this specific defense, just because look at the amount of windows you have to hop in here to get master bedroom control.
Yeah, Frost certainly comes into her own whenever there's a lot of windows at play. I know, you know, Frost and Skyscraper, name a better duo. You know, like we've seen in previous games earlier this evening on Border, Frost did some good work over in CCTV. So yeah, it is an operator that does seem to see a bit of play on Villa as well. There we go, Hyper just struggling to get the cam there. Yeti getting a great peek there onto Hyper, managing to find their head on that quick peek and just giving us a little bit of a dance of excitement, as he's clearly very pleased with himself that he managed to pick that one up there. It's a very good pick to get early on as well.
Yeah, Hyper just got deleted there. There's nothing really you can do against such a machine that is Yeti. As you will peek it out, and then we'll go. That's Hyper off the board already. I mean, that's one of your better fraggers, yeah, but it's also you're losing your Ash, you're losing a lot of your soft breach potential from below, and it's going to be the Buck who's going to have to try and make up for it. Vandal's going to go below, and he's going to try and open up the floor just a little bit coming out here. OrgLess still doing very, very well to just completely hold this down, though.
Yeah, they're just not really giving anything away. They're not in a position where they really need to peek all too much, although Vertical there almost getting the kill onto, I believe it would have been Crazy. I think Maestro there seeing just a slight bit of damage. But just speaking on the Ash as well, it removes the ability to deal with Maestro cams very easily. Obviously, Ash's breach and charge is going to be one of the better ways of dealing with Maestros, not having to cook a grenade or something like that. So a big loss early doors. But Yeti's still just being allowed to play downstairs as the drone come in. I'm not sure if he's been called out there, but he's certainly playing pretty close to Vandal and maybe just waiting for the right moment to peak, and he does choose the right moment. Yeti there going to pick up on the Buck, who's trying to make some disruption from below. So Yeti's doing a great job of playing these backstairs. He's got the ADS there, so he isn't really going to be worried too much about getting grenaded out, but no grenades left on the table. Now he's taking the Buck out and he's able to peek onto Bathroom. There's Beastly there holding an angle, but my man with the crouch peek picks up that kill onto Beastly with Valkyrie. Acid getting another one there onto Ghost. 1 versus 5. It's all down to England. He's in a tough spot there in Master Bedroom. My man going to pick up his second of the round, and that's going to be another round on the board for OrgLess.
Yeah, and they take that round completely flawlessly as well, completely shutting down all the attack. I honestly think that was win and loss around how Yeti played that. He played it very, very smart and very, very aggressive, and I guess he's just better because you mentioned that you don't know if Vandal's actually spotted him out or not, but the way that Vandal was playing that, he was like booking above and then instantly looking around, exactly where Yeti was. He clearly knew there was someone who was there, and they knew that Yeti was playing the bottom of the stairs before because he got a pick. But I think
there was a drone on him.
Yeah, I think Yeti's just better.
Which kill was better? Was it Yeti's kill or my man's kill?
I think it was Yeti's kill. I mean, my man did really well to get that entry, right? But, well, the reverse entry, I suppose. But I still think that Yeti had the more impact on that. Because at that point, my man can get traded, but no one's playing their Yeti. He has to win that fight, or else he just loses control. Some may say that's kind of a dumb thing to do, playing on your own like that and trying to take the gunfight, but he's taking a gunfight against the Buck, who's actively trying to open up upstairs as well. So, you know, him pressuring that and him just making the Buck waste time, just looking in behind, he may have actually forced out a rotate coming out from Rise as well there. So, do's and don'ts there, pros and cons, but we'll go through into round number 3. Looking very strong for OrgLess right now on, you know, traditionally a very defender-sided map. 5 seconds to insertion. But, you know, this is just not looking good for Rise. For a team that's already played Villa twice and won both times, they are not really looking that great.
No, and it's difficult. I think the loss that they suffered on border, it's maybe weighing on them a little bit more heavily than it perhaps should. But they've not really come out here and done anything spectacular just yet. I mean, you commented on it, OrgLess went flawless the last round, so, you know, Rise even struggling to get the kills and to make anything happen in that respect as well. But we're dealing with a slightly different bomb site this time, going to be downstairs, so it all depends on how they're able to push this. And I think that if they're able to take some good control and to kind of try and limit OrgLess a little bit and to try and pin down players like Yeti, who's just being allowed to play on the backstairs yet again as the drones are flying in, they're going to have to try and single these players out and, you know, make crossfires and set up ways that they're going to be able to deal with them, because ultimately it seems as though they're kind of not dealing with the roamers and it's causing them a little bit of a problem later on.
It is causing a problem, and Villa's one of those maps where you can play fairly aggressively on the roam, and it's pretty easy for you to rotate around, and I'm glad that the Jackal's being used a bit more effectively coming out here from Beastly, because in previous rounds, we didn't really see him Jackal tracking that much, and when he was, the people were on the site. So you can play this very aggressively, and I mean, if we go back to US Nationals as well, when it was Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses, that whole game on Villa was all about Canadian versus Foxay, and it was all about the Jackal tracking coming through on Villa. So it can prove how powerful that roam game can be. But oh my god, what a nitro from Acid, just misses! Oh, that is disappointing. But now he has the intel that they're down there. Now the rotates can come through, and they know exactly what to expect from the push coming through, because, you know, Rise are stagnating a little bit here. Just about 1 minute left to go on the clock, and it's not looking amazing from them. But there's not a huge amount of planned denial coming out from OrgLess right now. As Flash is going out into the site, it looks like Rise are getting ready for their push.
Yeah, Rise need to be getting ready to execute now. Like you say, there's not a lot of time left. Yeti there going to suffer quite a large portion of his health. I think maybe from Hyper there, just trying to get a bit of revenge perhaps for last round, as Hyper's just holding on to the door. But a lot of angles being held here, and this is the time now where Rise really need to be starting to make this push. The pulse is going to be really crucial in gathering information. He's already got a really good idea of where the push is going to be coming from. Manages to jump on his heartbeat scanner again, just find out where that Hivana is. and he's lost his nitro cell, so he's lost a bit of his denial, as it were, but he's still got all this information. It looks as though perhaps Rise are making a bit of a rotate, but with only 20 seconds left on the clock, they've not got all the time in the world to be playing with. Yeti just getting ready to drop down from Astronomy as Ghost takes some big shots there, but I think there's a mute jammer there that's perhaps stopping those Hibana pellets from coming. Kills are going to come out thick and fast. Crazy onto Beastly. England going to pick up one. Hyper and England again, all going to be down now to Brian and Yeti, but Brian picks up a double in the end, and again we just see Rise Nation running out of time.
Well, so I kind of feel bad for them there though, because so they did their initial push from downstairs. They jackal track there to make sure there's no one roaming downstairs, which is great, and good early control coming out from them. They got very lucky the fact that the nitro barely missed them coming out, but at that point when they're getting nitroed through that ceiling rotate, they know that there's intel on them. So they're like, okay, now we have to rotate around. We're going to do it. We have plenty of time to do it because it was about a minute left on the clock when they decided to rotate. Hibana comes through into Laundry and she tries to open the wall. But as you said, there's a mute jammer on that wall. So now where do you go? Okay, now we've got to rotate all the way around. Now we need to push through kitchen side as well. We need to push all the way through. But at that point, as you said, they're running out of time. They just tried to do like 3 rotates and it almost worked for them as well. But yeah, still looking really good for OrgLess right here, who have done so well throughout this series. Just to play super safe, not peek anything they don't need to, and just waste the time, because Rise Nation are not taking good time efficiency from their perspective with their attacks.
No, and OrgLess are doing a great job as defenders. Just, you know, the clock is running down in their favour. They don't have to peek anything. They're able to just sit back and wait for Rise to play into their angles and to play into their plan. It's very easy sat here to say, you know, maybe what should have happened or what could have happened. And I'm not going in on anyone at all, but I can't help but think maybe Rise Nation could have taken a bit more vertical control. They had the book. If they'd have come in upstairs in master bedroom or through study, taken a little bit of upstairs, opened up some of the spots on the floor, it would have made it very difficult for the players of OrgLess to sit comfortably on the site. I know that we obviously had the pulse with the nitro in hand, but I think that got spent relatively early on in the round, and there was maybe enough time to think about that rotate upstairs, open some holes, cause a little bit of disruption, and maybe shift the angle of attack that way. Because as it stood, it just seemed like they were going through doorways in the end and just getting cut down. But we're going to see a defense again and from OrgLess onto Aviator, and this time we're going to see a clash. I really like a clash on this objective. I think it's really effective.
I'm normally not a big advocate of clash, and I really don't like bringing it in most cases because I don't think it really adds in as much as just a regular operator would. But yeah, as you said, in this case, on this particular site, I really love the clash. I think you can delay quite a lot of time, but not only that, you're giving a lot of intel. And looking at the lineup from Rise Nation, they don't actually have too much to do with the clash here, although I will say a good way of dealing with the clash on this particular site is a lot of this floor is destructible. You can go below. They have the Ash, they have the Jackal, they have the Book, they have plenty of soft breaching potential to do that, and if they do it, I'll be impressed. If they don't, I'll be disappointed.
I think the advantage of the clash on this bomb site is that you're able to deal with both sides. So you're able to hold off the study if necessary, but you're also able to hold off against the back bush. And it's like you say, it's purely through the way that Villa has been built, in that there's these sort of archways and doorways, and there's real pinch points within the corridors, and the corridors aren't that long. And that's really where Clash can kind of come into her own, because you're able to maintain that distance, you're able to maintain that steady flow of damage that's coming in and the slowing effect. And you can see there that she's been able to hold Game Room there pretty much unchallenged as she's putting shots there onto England. England just conscious of the east stairs as well, obviously not wanting to get peeked from there, but Vandal going to be coming out with a kill onto Yeti, so we're going to lose Maestro, and that's going to be a bit of a shame at this point, because those Evil Eyes can be very crucial, especially when there's a clash on the board, because if you're able to pin someone up with a clash and then use the Evil Eye to maybe cause a little bit of disruption, or can even gather the intel for the clash to play off, that can be a difficult thing. But my man there not going to see Ghost on the stairs. Acid going to pick up a kill onto England, and Brian picking up one of his own onto Hyper. The plant is going down as Ghost picks up a kill onto Brian. Clash is still in the site, but she's not really able to do all too much, but Acid picks up one kill, can't quite pick up the other. Beastly going to take out Crazy. All going to be down to Acid, doesn't quite manage it. Much better round from Rise there coming out.
I really don't think the Clash really did that much there at all. I don't like the Clash playing in that city as well, as he's like trying to rotate between the two pushes. But the problem is holding that doorway in particular, rather than playing the hallway on 90, I think there's a lot of ways that you can get rid of that clash just from angles without having to go below at all, which Rise Nation didn't even do. So I think the clash could have been played a little bit better there, but I get why they were playing it where it was. It was also unfortunate that Yeti peeked out and just got instantly just deleted as he tried to peek out behind the clash. So do's and don'ts there coming out from both teams. I still think that Rise Nation didn't quite use their utility on the board that they had, but I loved, as I said, there's a reason this man is known as Yingland.
Well, he did a great job there. I think it was the Ying that enabled to sort of render Clash a little bit useless there, because it was the Ying push that came in that allowed the shock and awe and disruption that those Candelas provide, and that was what ultimately pushed Clash back into the side, lost control of the doorway, and the plan went down. So it was very good use of the utility there from Rise, and they did a much better job there of managing the time. It really didn't come down into the final seconds. They took good control early on. They'd obviously done some great drone work and setting up some drones in the prep phase for the backside, so around Trophy and Master Bedroom, because they were able to come through there fairly quickly and not really cause, they weren't really too worried about anything that would be going on there. Maybe a bit of a late flank from OrgLess would have come out there and been successful, but I think they had a pretty good lockdown of these stairs, so no real reason. But let's see what they do this time. Are they going to be able to do the same thing? We are going to the same bomb site, but that's going to be the first round that OrgLess are going to lose in quite some time. Let's see if this shift happens now, because Rise did seem to pick up a little bit of momentum on border as soon as they started chaining some rounds together.
Yeah, they definitely did. And we did talk a lot about momentum. I don't think that's a big deal in North America as it is in other regions, but it's definitely always a factor. It's that kind of team mentality that you have it along. It's that morale factor. And, sometimes it can get to you, but wow, what a shot from Hyper R6 himself. He takes Yeti off the board so early on. That's already the Maestro gone. You mentioned before when Yeti went down that it's a big kind of early kill coming out utility-wise. And I think you're right with when it's the clash on the board. But otherwise, like losing a Maestro this early, sure, you're losing a pretty powerful gun in a late game situation. But other than that, you still have your utility. It's kind of like Jaeger, right? You're putting the ADSs down, that's it. There's a very passive utility normally. Maestros don't normally get used that aggressively, so I still think it's a very, it's not a high impact kill, but it is a kill nonetheless. It is going to give them a good, decent one-man advantage this early on. It's good.
I mean, Maestro's the operator that's the clutch master, You're talking 81 rounds in an LMG on defense.
It's between him and Smoke.
What more could you want, And I guess it all depends on how well he's placed his cameras. If he's placed his cameras and then moved the point of view as to where he wants it to be, then fine. But if those cameras are kind of facing half on a wall and you've only really got the sound and you're not really getting full benefit out of it, that can play into it and be a bit of a problem. But it's getting to be a little bit of a clash of the titans here between Hyper and Yeti. They seem to be going, frag for frag, first blood in each other every single round. Kill there going to come out onto my man from Vertical as Buck picks up a kill onto the Valkyrie.
The one thing I'll mention about this vault defense is you see they open up the very top with the vault reinforcement so they can impact trick it, but you don't need to do that. You can actually impact trick it from the drone hole, something that Remorse did a lot during the Invitational qualifiers with his team, looking for Org, previously known as Disrupt, who are going to be playing Challenge League this season, but I prefer that because Rise Nation should be taking so many nades and you can nade back over that. But getting into the last 30 seconds now, it is going to be a 5v3. OrgLess not looking too good right now. Nades are going to start coming out. This is looking horrible for OrgLess right now, and the Ying start to come out as well. Yingland's going to make his way all the way into the site, but does go down. There's so many kills coming out, and all of a sudden it's all down to Crazy in a 3v1. The site is under the control of Rise right now as they try and push all the way in. There we go. Vandal picks up Crazy. Easy as that. Rise Nation find their second round on attack. Much better from them.
Yeah, they seem to really have this sort of aviator takedown now. They've managed to chain 2 rounds in a row there, having struggled in it on the first round of this map. But I think it's definitely time for OrgLess to maybe try somewhere else and look at go. There we go. We're going to see it. We're going to see them switch over onto Trophy and just try and switch things up, keep things fresh. It doesn't seem to be working in Aviator for them at this point. I think Rise have got a very good handle on how they're going to take that back push, and we are going to see a shield coming out as well.
I like the shield here. I will say though, as I did mention before, okay, there we go. Never mind. Ying is going to get stakes picked here from the Montaigne, and we're going to see Crazy actually going to pick up the Mute. I wonder if he's running Mute Shotgun here. I would like to see him run Mute Shotgun. He might have done that actually for the Montaigne.
Yeah, the shotgun can be devastating. We've seen so far just these qualifiers.
Well, not only that,
like
you're bringing Signal Disruptor, so it's going to mean that Montaigne can't move as quickly as you might want to, and you're going to bring in Nitro as well. So it's decent counter coming up from Montaigne. He might have done it from the Montaigne, but you know, there's a lot of factors that have been coming in. It might have just been a bait altogether of them bringing the Maestro to try and bait out more soft destruction rather than them bringing the shield. But we'll never know for sure. We're going to go through into round number 6. It's going to be the final attack coming up from Rise Nation. It's looking pretty good for them so far, though.
They've certainly woken up a little bit. They've chained 2 rounds together in Aviator. Now OrgLess have decided to switch things up a little bit and go over to Trophy, which I think is definitely the right thing to do at this point, because they're obviously, not quite able to deal with Rise's push in Aviator. And we have seen a bit of an operator switch around as well, which can be good to, sort of change things up a little bit. I know that Yeti and Hyper have been sort of going toe-to-toe on First Blood, and I wonder if Yeti's maybe switching over onto Jaeger, just trying to play things a little bit more differently, and not kind of be stuck down as a 3-armor that maybe is a little bit slow. Maybe he's going to be able to feel like he can play it off that a little bit better as the push is going to come through from Study. Some drone work going through, and Hyper not wasting any time, getting straight through into game. Crazy is down at this point. I think he's been down from the window by Vandal, but he is going to get reset, so he will be back, but only with half health. Vandal causing an absolute nuisance out there on the west balcony. Just putting a bit of pressure onto the site, letting the defenders know that they're not able to operate also freely in and around as the push does come through from Aviator. As Hyper there is just going to get into his drone, figure out what the setup's going to be and how they're going to tackle that. Brian just going to be holding tight, no real need to push anything at this point from OrgLess. But I'd maybe like to see, yeah, here we go, we've got my man. He's going to be waiting on I think that's East Stairs, just playing off his Valkyrie cameras, figuring out if there's anywhere that he's able to push from and come up with a bit of a flank. Valkyrie camera there just gets spotted, but he's still in the position and still able to come out with this late flank. And I think this is really what's going to do OrgLess some favours if they are able to come out with some sort of a late flank, whether that's through Study Stairs or whether that's through East Stairs. That's going to be the difference, because so far they've not come up with that, and Rise have been very good at just taking one side of the map and then pushing through brute force.
Yeah, there's definitely been quite a lot of that from Rise, especially in the later rounds that we've seen. And a lot of this has been all about, again, from Rise, relying quite heavily on the Ying pushes, but this time it's been working out quite well for them because they've managed to set it up quite well. And there we go, Ying push already going to come through from England. He gets all the way in there, but no, Crazy takes him down. Oh my god, what a peak coming out from Crazy. And the Nitro goes out as well. That's going to deny the plant. That's a 2k from Crazy. He may just win this round. He gets a 3rd. Oh my god, what is happening right now? Acid picks up 1 more, and now it's all man to Ghost in a 1v4 to try and recover the round. He's still got 40 seconds left to do it, but he's not got a lot of control. He doesn't have a lot of utility. He doesn't have a lot of hope. You know what he does have? He has a 5.52 and his wits about him. He's going to try and push all the way in to see what he can do, see what picks he can get, but he's running out of time. This is not looking too good for him. He does get Legion Mind as well, and there we go, he does push in. He does actually get the kill onto Acid, but Brian instantly trades him out, and there we go, OrgLess do take that round. Wow.
I think that's 3 or 4 trades that we've seen tonight that have been, 1-for-1 trades, and it's just not something you see all the time. That's crazy. It just goes to show the level that these guys are playing at, and I think OrgLess did a great job there. Crazy, definitely, definitely very influential in that round with Mute's SMG, the Nitro cell to deny the plant, just getting the diffuser all locked away in the site.
It's not just that, it's the fact that, so what Rise did there is they smoke as the Ying is coming through. So the Ying is stopping anyone from pushing through the smoke and denying the plant. He's got so much control, but the Ying dying as early as he did because of Crazy completely tore apart Rise there. And I've said it every single time that Rise have been bringing Ying. They've been relying on it so much. I'll admit, England has been doing a great job on Ying compared to how Vandal was playing and, well, generally how Rise Nation were playing around the Ying during Border. But again, I can't help but feel that as soon as that Ying falls, everything else just falls apart. And you saw that the smoke cover was there. That just allowed the defenders to move up and allow Crazy to get off a great Nitro, pretty much winning the round.
Yeah, maybe it was a case that the smoke wasn't quite deep enough, because he did seem to come out of the smoke relatively quickly.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think if the smoke had been a little bit deeper, it would have allowed him to play and get further into the site before getting seen.
So the issue with putting a smoke that deep is that I don't think earlier on they flashed that deep, so they don't know if there's an ADS, because normally a lot of teams will play an ADS between where the bomb is and where the big statue is in statue room, and that's a really hard ADS to get rid of. So potentially that's what they're thinking. Maybe been thinking, let's just smoke here and let's just go for the plant now. We've got the in cover, and that's just kind of what they did. Mistakes coming out all across the board really, and that's kind of just how it goes sometimes. And it's easy for us to sit here and go, oh yeah, this is what we should have done, but it's always a hard thing to do right there and then in the moment. Anyway, we're going to get through into round number 7. It's going to be OrgLess who move onto the attack. This is defender-sided, so this is kind of what we were expecting scoreline-wise.
I don't think that Rise can be too disappointed with the scoreline at this stage. They had some, flashes of brilliance on the attacks of Aviator, and they really managed to nail that down. So they've done very well to get to 2 rounds to 4, and it's now going to be on OrgLess. We saw in Border they did really struggle to convert that final round, so it's going to be interesting to see if they do struggle to convert these next couple of rounds to pick up a few more and get themselves onto match point. Yeti going to be getting a good track there onto Legion. There's a hell of a lot of barricades going down now over on the master bedroom and statue side. So obviously just trying to slow that push down a little bit. We've got the Legion mines as well. We've got the pulls perhaps playing underneath. All these things are going to lead into just wasting a bit of time for OrgLess, which is of course going to be playing right into Rise's favour.
Yeah, and it's looking really good for Rise right now. My main concern, well not concern, my main big point about this defense is that they have a great place for pulls and Illusion to be playing, and Illusion can really rotate through into Vault. Beastly's sitting in a great position, but it's not going to mean everything because Hyper will go down so early on as he tries to push out 90. Not looking too good for them right now, as Acid will Thatcher the whole way out. That's going to make sure there's no Legions there as well. It's going to allow him to push up, but it's also getting rid of the bandits on the wall, so it's giving OrgLess options. That's what they need.
Yeah, and England there just playing a tight angle against the door. Great place to play with the shotgun. He's going to be getting that out, ready for anyone that could be peeking. But there's going to be no one challenging the doorway too heavily. We've got one player either side of 90. Ghost going to be underneath, just waiting for the right time to make that flank, which surely is going to be coming pretty soon as we lead into the final 30 seconds. Yeti, more than aware of his presence. Ghost manages to peek out and get the kill. That was a great headshot. Throws the C4, doesn't manage to connect. England picking up a double with that shotgun. 4 versus 2 now in favour of Rise. All down to Crazy and Brian. England going to make a triple and pick one up onto Crazy, as it's now all down to Brian outside of Study, just trying to push his way into game room. He's going to get pinched from either side. Brian does manage to take one onto Ghost, but England there making it a 4K and picking up that final kill onto Brian. 3 nice kills there with the shotgun. England
on the smoke with the shotgun in gaming room. Name a more iconic Cluedo reference. So yeah, and he's played that constantly for Rise, and yeah, as during last season's Pro League as well, he was constantly through that. He was just holding down that like his life depended on it, because it very much did. And he is a great smoke. He's constantly been shutting down pushes coming out. Interesting, not actually going to be playing the smoke this round, but I think it's because of the site choice more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is about the smoke is that it's very valuable to play it on multiple different sites, because it's just a great operator. I mean, they've still brought it. They've brought it on Vandal this time. We've just in England maybe switch out. Vandal's perhaps saying, you know, I want to do it, getting the 3K with a shotgun. So yeah, give him over to me. Let me get some kills. Let me get my KD up a little bit. But now Legion there. Still a very important operator for this bomb site, and it's nice to see that they're going to be making some holes upstairs just to be able to play off a little bit. Nothing too big, but just making some small peak holes that they're going to be able to use later on in the round, and a little bit of utility being deployed there as well.
Yeah, and this site is very controversial for me. So during the European Open Qualifier earlier on,
5 seconds to go.
Extreme Video were playing this quite a lot. They were playing the living room, and they were playing also the kitchen as well downstairs. This is not a great site to hold down, and I don't know, the setup here is all about the upstairs control coming out from Rise Nation. I think it's more about, I'm pretty sure they're playing double shotgun here, with both the mute and the smoke. So they both got shotguns, they're both going to hold upstairs, they've both got the soft destruction, and they both have the ability to hold down tight angles, as we just saw how effective the shotgun could be on those tight angles in game room. The problem is, OrgLess, they don't even have to contest that. They might not even have to go upstairs. They are going to choose to do so at the moment, it looks like, to try and tear this defense apart from upstairs. But either way, they either take upstairs control, and they have everything they can do because they have a sledge on the board and they have an ash, so there's lots of destruction from them. They either do this, or they go downstairs, just open up that wall and plant there and cover the upstairs easily enough. Maybe with just opening up a little bit of this and then rotating everyone downstairs. Don't forget as well, they do have smokes on the board.
Ooh, the bandit trick there going to come out from Hyper, and Brian's going to choose to use them on a soft wall instead, which I think Bandit will struggle to trick on the soft wall, but maybe even a mute jammer up there. So there's 3 defenders that are really holding down upstairs pretty hard. That then gets destroyed. My man's going to move in and get the kill onto England. That's going to be Legion down relatively early on, just about halfway into the round. So not all too many goo mines out there to worry about. My man's got himself hidden there behind Vault Door. Hyper, pretty aware of his presence there, and just going to be holding a pretty tight angle from behind the bar in game room over onto my man. But no kills going to come out as of yet. OrgLess spending quite a bit of time making sure that they were able to clear out this upstairs, but they are doing it very slowly but surely. 2 kills going to come out there back to back as Ghost and Hyper are going to fall. And that's now going to be most of their job done. They've done that very well of OrgLess with a minute left on the clock. They spent 2 minutes clearing out some roams there. Vandal's going to get pressured. Crazy's going to pick up that kill. All now lies on the hands of Beastly. Does manage to pick up 1, but gets traded out straight away by Brian. So OrgLess there, by taking the upstairs control and seeing that there was 3 people playing up there. And I think that if you're going to invest 3 people, you've got to have a plan to be able to rotate back, because at the point where those 3 people die without getting a single kill, it's very easy then to go on and take the site.
Yeah, and we were talking about the viabilities of sites and the viability of how differently you can take that, and OrgLess seem to be all about giving themselves options. Like, they're constantly pressing the attack on any side that they can see, and they're not letting them make it obvious where the push is coming from. You know, unlike how Rise Nation were doing it, especially when they were attacking border, they were kind of just pushing all their utility onto one side and just hoping something breaks. Admittedly, they were doing it pretty well in terms of scouting, and they did manage to pick up 2 rounds purely off of the back of the Ying on border, and here as well, they managed to pick up attack rounds on Ying as well. So they've been doing well to just hammer out that defense from one side. The problem is with that is that OrgLess can respond quite quickly. You see that Rise haven't been able to do the same thing just because of the amount of options that OrgLess have given them. It kind of reminds me a little bit about how Reciprocity play, well, how they played last season anyway, and how they've just been kind of like opening up as much as they can, trying to hold the angles, trying to push from most sides, but not playing aggressive, not playing solo. There has been a little bit of solo play from OrgLess, but that mostly comes through on the defense. I'm not that bothered about it.
No, I mean, that attack was very well oiled, if you will. You know, they were all working together, all pushing the same thing. They made very short work of the defenders. I just think that Rise maybe spread themselves a little bit too thin there, and also kind of overcommitted to 1 or 2 rooms. I don't know how they would have done it differently, but maybe even playing a pulse down in like pottery or something like that to be able to tell when the push is coming through.
It's also about
rotate off
positioning there from them, because my man goes in and he gets the first entry kill, and there's someone else playing there, but he can't trade him because they're too far apart. And you mentioned about how they're playing too far apart. You mentioned about how they kind of spread themselves thin. I definitely agree with that, because there weren't any really big refrags coming out there from Rise, and you got to kind of question why you're playing that heavy of a roam if you're not having the constant ability to trade off each other.
England there going to manage to pick up that drone. My man is certainly going to be aware of his presence. Sticking his shot down onto the barricade, but the Valkyrie has since rotated off. And just going to get away with his life there. I thought that was going to be a really early entry kill there for my man again. It seems like he's switched over a little bit now. We did see Yeti picking Ash a little bit earlier on, but now my man is opting for that entry role and making good work of it. He picks up, like you say, he picked up the double kill on entry last game. Yeti just downstairs, just trying to find out some footprints, maybe trying to root out some defenders. But Rise are going to come out with a bit of a a rotate here. They're going to go all the way downstairs as the Jackal scan comes out, and we will see who that is. That is Valkyrie. So Valkyrie is going to get detected on this late, well, I guess it's not so late, but she's going to get detected on this long roam, if you will, and it's going to lock her down to the basement at this stage because there's only a couple of ways up from there, and that's going to be something that OrgLess are going to be able to capitalize on. Acid there is going to pick up the kill onto the Legion, and Hyper is going to get the kill straight back onto Yeti. So the Jackal track will be no longer, and it will allow Valkyrie to play a little bit more freely, depending on where she does manage to pop up from the basement. The man, ooh, it did look like he had an angle there onto a player over in Statue, but Beastly is going to pick up the kill onto Acid. That's going to take us to a 4 versus 3 in favor of Rise Nation. The plant has gone down, and the smoke grenades are going to come out, but they are going to be too late. It's now all going to be on Rise to retake this site, as England and Hyper are going to be coming up the east stairs, just trying to make something happen. I'm not sure if they're aware of my man there, just holding that angle, but oh, they do manage to peek around and get that kill, so they managed to, well, get the down, I guess, but Hyper is going to convert it. Brian is going to be watching the long angle. Beastly picking up one onto Crazy, all down to Brian now. He's got the Bearing 9 in hand, the smoke grenade comes out, he picks up 1 kill, but England makes short work, and the defuse is going to stick.
Almost beautiful coming out from OrgLess, but as soon as that plant goes down, 4 people are off the site. As I said, there's only a couple of ways up, but neither of them were really being covered from OrgLess. Even though they knew people were downstairs in the basement because Jackal tracking came out, then the Jackal goes down to Hyper, who he wasn't tracking, so now he knows there's 2 people down there.
Yeah, I think my man was in a very difficult position there. I think he was perhaps a little bit scared to move further away, and he ended up holding a very close angle with an ACOG, which just didn't really play into his favour at all. I think it was the shotgun actually that got
as well, now that I think about it, there's not only 2 ways to get up, there's 3 ways, because there's also got Astro stairs. Yeah,
so they're spreading themselves thin in terms of, well, it was a good flank from Rise. I think that there's a lot to be said from that. It was a kind of flank, kind of a lurk. The flank started, they got Jackal tracked, or one of them did, but then Jackal got traded, so it made it a lot easier for them to be able to then fully commit to that. And I'm not sure if they ever knew that I'm not sure if OrgLess, ever knew that Hyper was actually down there with the Jackal, with the Valkyrie. So there are a lot of places to watch in that scenario, and I guess it's hindsight, but I really think that my man, he kind of just got pinned into a bad corner, which is just not a corner that you'd ever really choose to play in that scenario with an ACOG like that, because it did just leave him a little bit too overexposed.
Brian made a good decision there, although inevitably they lost the round. He realized he's not going to win a gunfight against 3 people, just kind of like chain peeking, if you get what I mean. Like one person peeks, then he comes back and the other person peeks out, and they can just kind of instantly trade off each other like that. So, you know, we'll see how it goes down as we do move into round number 10 getting underway. OrgLess just a couple of rounds away from locking out the series in their favor and putting down Rise. But, you know, this is looking like a much closer map than Border was.
Well, the scoreline certainly reflects that, and as you say, we're up to round 10 now. We've got 4 for Rise, 5 for OrgLess. This really is anybody's, and at this point, I think if Rise are able to get the next round, that's really going to give them a good bit of momentum. And like we've said, it is slightly defender skewed, this map, so it does, you know, the odds are stacked in their favour, I guess. But we are seeing a Aviator hold this time, which I think is one that OrgLess have done well on historically.
They have done pretty well historically on this, but we'll see how this does actually tend to pan out, because I think Rise Nation is starting to get a little bit more comfortable and they're playing a little bit more aggressive. We already saw that from the heavy roam game coming out, and I don't like the fact that Yeti on the Jackal is solo pushing this, because he got picked because he was solo pushing. But there we go. Finally, my man's going to come through onto the other side. He does manage to pick him up, and Yeti moves in. He takes down Ghost. That is so much better coming out from OrgLess. I'm so glad to see great teamwork coming out from them. And that may have just won them the round to take out Romers that early.
Saying that, Rise is going to get the kill of their own, with England managing to take out Acid on the Thatcher. That shotgun doing the good work yet again. My man is on pretty low health as well there. He's going to be making his way, or at least clearing some utility to start making his way over into Study. Pulse is going to be playing over in the vault, just able to gather a little bit of information. England there, just going to make sure that there's no drones that are going to be causing them any nuisance later on. Grenades are going to come out, smokes are coming in. Candela Oh, sorry, not Candela. Legion Mine is going to get deployed there and get into crazy. So we've still got Beastly in the vault area, and he's going to be able to call if the plant starts to go down, and that's going to allow Vandal to push onto that door pretty aggressively. We've got England being able to watch the other door, so this defense is looking pretty good for Rise, but the thing that plays into OrgLess's hands is there's quite a bit of time left on the clock, 45 seconds left, so they've got a lot of time to play with, but they're going to have to start making a push from somewhere. The plant is actually going down, so I think that must have just been out of the range of the pulse scanner, and it seemed a little bit impossible at a time, but OrgLess have managed to get the bomb down there, and now Yeti is able to get some kills down onto 90, first taking out England, then going on to take out Vandal. All now down to Beastly, as he's left in a 1 versus 4 situation, does manage to pick up Brian, but my man there, ready to trade out the kill, gets the final one onto Beastly, and that's going to be a good round in the books for OrgLess.
Yeah, really good round coming up from OrgLess, but particularly from Yeti there, who got a 3k, 1 from his entry, and 2 again from his holding on to 90. But great push coming up from OrgLess, recognizing the fact that England's on the shotgun, on the laser sight, on smoke. He's playing that doorway. There's no way you're contesting that push. So rather than contest it, just go to the other place. I think that Rise were, as you said, relying a little bit too heavily on that pulse, because he said it was a little bit too far out of his range to see the plant was going down where it was. And so they had a Legion playing behind Vault Door. They had Pulse playing sort of that area as well to try and pulse it out. If the Pulse had been behind Vault Door, that may have gone a little bit differently. We would have been able to see where the plant was going down a little bit more effectively. Could have gone a little bit better. But
yeah, I agree. I'm not sure how. I think it was Brian on Hibana that planted. Yeah. I'm not sure how he was able to get into the site at that point without getting sort of alerted.
They call Brian the magician. He activated smoke wall. Kind of ran into the site.
Because you would think that would be called out on the pulse scanner and allow. I think it was Vandal playing on the Legion over in game to be able to peek the angle just before he crouches down behind the desk, if you will, to get the bomb down. So I don't know, it's difficult to say, but OrgLess certainly did a good job of getting the bomb down. They've brought themselves onto a match point. We're going to be seeing this location yet again. So this is really it for Rise Nation. If they want this spot, or if they want a chance at this spot at Invitationals, they're going to have to really come out to play now. And there's no room for any sort of mistake. But on the other hand, this is it now for OrgLess. If they take this round, they're going to go on to face Space Station Gaming.
Yeah, they are indeed. OrgLess just 1 round away from locking this out. But don't forget, there's still a lot of potential for Rise to bring this back, because OrgLess have now taken 2 rounds on the attack, which is what Rise had done. And they took 4 rounds of defense. I think there's a lot of potential here for Rise to bring that in. But they got to start playing a little bit smarter with their utility, and they've got to recognize where the weaknesses are in their defenses and respond appropriately when OrgLess start to push into them, because that's what's been happening pretty much across this entire series, where OrgLess have been really good at droning out the site and droning out what the setup is like, and they're just pushing where the utility's not.
Yeah, and I think OrgLess has done a great job of getting some good entry kills as well. They picked up 2 last round, which was certainly very influential in how that round ended up playing out for them. And it seems this time that Rise are playing a little bit more reserved. They're not in the area, they're not in the same areas around that statue area as to where they got killed last time. But Yeti's still able to get a good track of where Jaeger is, and that's going to lock Jaeger out just for a little bit of time until that track wears off. But it's going to certainly alert his position, and OrgLess maybe going to rotate off that and try and single the Jaeger out as he is downstairs on his own. But it just seems as though we got some of the study open, and my man maybe just going down to. I thought he was going to go down there just to try and watch out for the Jaeger that may be looking to rotate up these stairs, but not quite yet. Jaeger downstairs in Art Studio, so more nearer to study stairs, but down there playing with Ghost as well. So a lot of potential for a refrag down here, but. I think with the progress that OrgLess are making onto the site, it could be time for them to look to start moving back up.
Yeah, and you can definitely point out, Nitros are going to go out, but that's not going to pick anything, but Ghost himself will pick up 1, and my man instantly will trade him out. Hyper recognizes that he's losing that situation, and will go up a different staircase instead. My man's still very concerned about the pushes coming through, will start to throw out flashbangs, and just kind of zoom in his way there to see what is going on. But yeah, as you said, they're still on the roam. They need to start making a move up, but they're being completely locked out, it looks like, and OrgLess is doing a much better job at shutting down those rotates.
That being said, moving into the final 35 seconds, OrgLess are going to have to do something with the control that they've got. It looks as though Brian has managed to sneak his way in yet again, as Acid is going to pick up a kill with a Claymore. And I think Brian actually got smoked out there, and the diffuser is down. The diffuser is going to get smoked as well, and the smoke is going to finish off Brian. So the diffuser is on the floor in sight. Beastly's going to pick up a kill onto Acid. All of a sudden, this is looking pretty good for Rise Nation in the final few seconds. My man just taking a Legion Mine out before he managing to get the bomb down, but smoke's going to come out again. So much denial coming out from Rise Nation, and I think that is going to be OrgLess out of time unless the diffuser is going down right now. But no, Vandal is going to get the kill onto my man as he tries, and that's going to be a great round for Rise Nation, deploying all the utility at the right point, managing to deny that plant for 30 seconds or more.
And Rise played that so much better this time. They played the pulse in the position that they should have played him last time, where he can now pulse out that entire area. He can see when he goes down. I was going to say I didn't quite like the positioning from England last time, but I actually realized now, moving in there, that England playing there with info, he can just crouch behind there, near the doorway, going in through onto gaming room, and then you can just turn around and smoke exactly where the plant is going to start to go down, when no matter where it goes down in that room, he can inevitably smoke it off. And yeah, I think a lot of that just came down to the fact that England is playing a really powerful position. So yeah, I definitely did like that coming out from him. It's going to be OrgLess still on match point, of course, but one round away from Rise Nation and to taking us to our very first overtime of the night.
Definitely some potential for that. We're moving downstairs, and this is a location that OrgLess have won on the attack before. They won this back in round 8. So, and that's the only time it's been played. So a little bit of precedent there. I'd be interested. I think this was the round where we saw Rise playing heavily upstairs, and they were I think OrgLess were able to deal with 3 of Rise very quickly upstairs, take that control, and then just move on and get the last 2 that were on the site. So I think it's all going to be about how this is played out. If Rise played this the same way as last time, and OrgLess were able to attack it in the same way and kind of tear it apart, then they're going to have to do something different basically this time, I think, to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Hopefully they will start to aim it up a bit. And then we always talk about adaptation. It's all about how quickly you can adapt around, how quickly you just kind of go what's happening exactly in these rounds, and appropriately, you know, adapt. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen too much adaptation coming out from either of these teams, but we do see little parts of evidence. Not in terms of operator lineup, but in terms of play style. But most of the time, Rise are kind of running the same lineup and the same setups.
Yeah, you can see that they've still got 3 guys playing upstairs. We've got the same wall bandited. We've probably got the same mute jammer going down. I think we've seen possibly an impact trick there just to get one of the charges off after a Thatcher maybe has gone in. But a mute still causing a little bit of a nuisance there, and the Hibana pellet's not quite being able to be detonated as the Thatcher comes down again. But unfortunately there, Ghost is going to pick up his jammer trying to save it, and that is going to allow the Hibana to open up the hole. So puts Ghost in a very difficult position, but he's got a great weapon to be there. He's got the shotgun. That shotgun's going to do some great work at close range in that vault. Brian there just looks as though he's waiting for something to happen as another bandit battery is going to get placed. And this seems to be going a little bit differently. I think this is probably more of the way that Rise have envisioned this working, and that's why they're willing to try it again, because they do know that it works. And they're willing to be able to, you know, put this on the line, because by this point in the round last time that this site was played, I think OrgLess has already got some kills. Ghost there going to be coming out with a kill of his own onto Crazy with the SMG-11. That's a great kill to pick up. So that's Sledge out of the picture. That's going to be some grenades, and obviously a lot of soft destruction that's been removed within the first 2 minutes of the round. But it looks as though OrgLess have managed to make the way in. Acid's going to pick up a kill of his own onto England. So that's going to remove the Legion. And my man is just waiting for Ghost to peek. Ghost just peeks out, and my man's ACOG there is going to do the work for him. My man looking for another one onto the guy behind Gaming and the bar in Gaming. But I don't think that he's going to be able to find it. There's no real reason for this guy to peek that's behind there. So stun grenades are going to come out, and Hyper there is going to be stunned. My man taking the Ash main route and just going in for a stun, vaulting over and managing to pick up that kill. All now going to be down to Vandal and Beastly as the shots are raining in from above. There's not a lot of time left for OrgLess. They're going to have to do something relatively quickly. Beastly's going to pick up a kill onto Brian. That's going to put the diffuser down. Toxic Bays are going to come out. down to the final 25 seconds now. I think Acid is going to be the one that's going to be making this initial push and just trying to take out the smoke, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to push in far enough. The diffuser is going to get dropped again as Vandal picks up yet. Oh, that's actually a down, but Vandal's going to be prepared to repeat that. He picks up another kill onto Acid. Maman is now the last one standing, and 2 more kills are going to come out for Rise Nation. Beastly and Vandal doing a great job there in a 2 versus 4 to keep Rise Nation's hopes alive.
Completely bringing that back, purely off of the back of flag potential there and just completely peeking out. OrgLess could have done a lot better there to take vertical control and really abuse the hell out of it, because it seemed like they were going upstairs just to clear out roamers, but you can get vertical control off of that. They had soft destruction available to them as well. So I really just don't understand how they allowed that to go through as quickly as it did, and in the way it did when people were just peeking out the fairly similar angle. But
I think the kill onto Crazy was quite crucial.
It was and it wasn't, because yeah, you're taking the sledge off the board that early, but there's a Jackal.
And the sledge just makes a very short work of that kind of stuff, and I think that with the time that it took, that maybe played into the way that they had to play it a little bit differently.
I think the key point to take away from that is that Jackal and Sledge are both good soft destruction, but without a but, you need to get in there quickly and start working on that floor, and they just weren't able to do that. The fact that, you know, Hyper dies, but he's allowed to play behind the bar for so long before he eventually does get pushed out, I think that just survival from Rise Nation, even though it does get turned into a 4v2 eventually, survival and just wasting time is something that Rise have been pretty good at throughout the series and throughout this particular map.
So we are leading into our first overtime, and Rise Nation doing a great job there of bringing things back. I think OrgLess was sat on round 5 for quite some time. They did manage to pick one back, but Rise have done a great job to bring it to this point. They're going to be the first ones to defend again, and they've chosen to go over to Statue and Trophy. So it's all going to be on the lineup of OrgLess and how they can do anything a little bit differently. The key difference that we can see so far is that Maman is going to be on Zafir, so he's going to be putting the Ash to bed for a little bit of time and making good use of Zafir. So a small, slight change there. Why do you think they've done that?
I'm not sure, honestly. I think that mainly you're like bringing Ash or Zofia based on, you know, Maestro usage, but obviously no Maestro here. So I think the Zofia is mainly about just trying to push out defenders quickly enough, because you get the thing about Zofia, right, and her gadget. People say, oh, Ash is better now because her flashes, she gets 3 of them, you only get 2 Zofia charges. But it's like one of the only attack gadgets you get feedback from. You know if there's someone there. You don't know if there's someone there if you just throw a flash at them. You don't know if you even flash them or not. But the Grismot, like, charge comes out from Zofia, and you know if there's someone there because it gets detonated instantly. And I think that allows you to move way, way quicker. Not only that, but her impact, I think, a little bit better than the Ash charges, just in case, because they just go off instantly. There's no delay.
Yeah, they're definitely a little bit quicker, and I think it provides better destruction on the floor as well. I'm not sure if that is the case or not, but it doesn't act like a normal impact.
Yeah.
We're seeing the push coming out pretty slowly this time from OrgLess. We've got a couple of members of Rise there. They're going to be on the ground floor, maybe going, or sorry, on the basement, maybe going for this very late flank yet again. But I've no doubt that OrgLess have got a couple of drones set up just waiting. Yeti is, his spidey senses are tingling at this stage. He's definitely aware that something isn't quite right. Perhaps they've done a little bit of a drone of the site and got a man count, and they seem to be missing a couple. Toxic Bait is going to come out, but that isn't really going to be doing anything to stem the attackers' flow at this stage. Brian going to be struggling to make anything work in his master bedroom. He's going to want to try and make his way in. The smoke there comes out. Now, the last time that this happened, we had the Ying, and it didn't work too well at all. But this time, the smokes are good. England just desperately trying to get some shots in, but doesn't quite manage. Yeti picking up one on the flank. Hyper is going to trade out onto Maman. Maman's going to get a kill from the Claymore straight onto Hyper. And Yeti is going to be waiting there, playing over in Gaming, and he's going to pick up a kill onto England. Acid going to get one of his own onto Vandal. All now down to Ghost. The diffuser is down 1 versus 4. He's not got a lot of chance at that stage. Crazy's able to pick up that kill as he rotates through the crouch Hibana hole. And that's going to be a good round for OrgLess. I think Yeti's game sense there was certainly on point. He was very aware of that flank, and he dealt with it very swiftly when it did come.
That Claymore from a man as well. I'm pretty sure that's the same Claymore that Hyper got picked by the last time. So yeah, it's like that very, very tight Claymore, because I'm pretty sure most of the lasers do actually go back into the stairs itself. And it's just something you're not looking at, because when you're moving up the stairs, you're expecting gunfights at the top, so you're not even looking at the stairs themselves. And yeah, Hyper just gets picked. Really a heads-up Claymore coming out from a man. And that could also be the other reason you're bringing Zofia there.
Yeah, definitely. Zofia brings the Claymore potential, and we are going to, of course, see a switcheroo now. So the sides are going to change. So Rise are going to switch over onto the attack, and it's going to be OrgLess to take defense. They're going to choose to go to the same location, going to choose to go to Statue and Trophy, and this is, of course, overtime match point. So this is going to be one that OrgLess are going to want to do well and going to want to win. And historically, over this game, they have won Trophy a couple of times on the defense, so that's certainly going to play into their favor just a little bit when it comes to setting this. But it is a bit of a change of the tides. We've had a lot of attacking rounds in a row for OrgLess at this stage, and a lot of defensive rounds in a row for Rise, so it's going to be about how they're able to adapt onto that and what they're able to bring.
It's a bit of a reset of the momentum, sure. I just want to point out as well, there was a nice bit of six-picking going on there. That Hyper six-pick from the Ashe onto the Zofia to try and deal with the Clash, but then the Clash got six-picked onto the Jaeger. I assume just as bait to try and bait out like a Capitao or a Zofia. So I'm not sure if that's what OrgLess actually wanted here, because I feel like you kind of want to deal... But then it gets Hyper. You kind of don't want to deal with Hyper on the Ashe, because this man, he'll kill you. He's still got the underage of blood in him.
Yeah, Hyper's been doing some good work on the Ashe. There's been some pretty crazy kills coming out from both sides, I think. You know, Hyper's been doing some great work from Rise, as well as England. But Hyper more on the entry, and of course on OrgLess, Yeti and my man have been pretty much swapping to and fro as to who's getting the entry kills there. So both doing good work. This is a setup that we've seen before as well from OrgLess, with Yeti playing on those back stairs and my man on the Valkyrie just making a nuisance of himself, rotating all the way downstairs. I love the basement of Villa. I feel like it provides such great rotation for the defenders, and it's an area that the attackers very, very rarely go, and it's just it's a kind of give for the defenders to be able to rotate around the side, around the map.
So within that Renshiro did here as well, just going back to that Extreme Video esport game, he was playing Rook, and he's playing the very bottom of the stairs, and these east stairs, you can actually get an angle from the east stairs all the way onto the north stairs from the bottom of them, and Renshiro's holding that with a Rook, and think of the amount of pushes that completely destroys, and now you have to do your own clear. Now you have to go downstairs, you have to deal with this Rook, and he's just going to be all the way downstairs. And yeah, it does give out the viability of just roaming downstairs and just wasting time and just testing angles, because there's so much viability for Villa.
Yeah, Villa, as we've said, I mean, we've seen it tonight. All these bomb sites have been viable in one way or the other. I don't think there's been one that's always gone one way or the other. England, they're going to be opening up a couple of prone holes with Hibana and getting into his drone. The push is certainly going to start coming through now from Rise Nation, which is good because it's a little bit earlier than we do usually see it. Hyper there, just trying to find out if anybody is playing in the site, putting a couple of lifelines down, but they did not detonate straight away, so that's going to feed back to him just a little bit. Vandal on the Ying, no doubt getting ready with a Candela in his hand to make the push happen here, as we can hear the smoke grenades are going to start coming out, and I think it's going to be England that's going to be peeking that doorway, just putting some shots down. He's definitely aware that we've got somebody playing over the other side. Hyper going to be getting aggressive into the site. He's now all the way into A. The Yings have gone deep this time. Hyper's going to pick up a kill onto Acid, almost going to pick up another one onto Yeti. Yeti surely can't repeat that angle. Crazy going to come out with a C4 kill onto the Zephyr. Brian going to come out with a kill onto Beastly. The diffuser has gone down. 3 versus 4 in favour of OrgLess. My man going to pick up a kill onto England. Ghost going to get a kill onto Brian, and all of a sudden it's looking pretty good for Rise Nation. They've just got to try and hold on to this post plan as hard as they can. Vandal's going to make good use of a Candela there and picking up a kill onto Crazy, making it a 2 versus 2. Yeti is certainly one bullet at this stage, so he won't want to be challenging anything too hard. Ghost picking up the kill onto my man. Yeti all the way in sight. The diffuser has still got a little bit of time left, but he's got a lot of work to do. He can't find this kill, and he's going to be searching for it. Is he going to be able to pick up this kill? He's aiming too high. Ghost on the crouch is going to get the kill onto Yeti, and that's going to be a round on the board for Rise Nation.
Yeah, definitely very well done coming out from Rise Nation, especially to get that plant down while still having a Candela. Really smart from Vandal to where he used that Candela as well. because the only flank potential that OrgLess actually has at that point for a retake is to push through the site and through the bathroom at the same time. So that pinch potential, that was around that Rise insanely needed. That has saved them from getting knocked out here, and this may have saved them completely because, as we said, this is a little bit defender-sided, and both rounds from overtime have now been attacker wins.
Yeah, it seems to have changed up ever so slightly in the final stages, but we're of course moving into overtime match point now, so this really is for all the marbles. Whoever wins this round is going to be the victor out of Villa. Whether that is OrgLess, they're then going to take the series 2-0, or if it's Rise Nation, we will then see Oregon as our deciding map. It's fallen on the side of Rise Nation for defense. They've opted to go over to Aviator. This is somewhere that they've done pretty well. It's just it all comes down to this. It just goes to show how well matched these teams are, I think, and especially how well matched this map is in terms of like the ability to pick up rounds. It seems like the rounds that you pick up are the rounds that the other side picks up as well, and it's really on who can adapt better on their attack to make something happen differently.
Yeah, we mentioned that point constantly. The ability to adapt on the fly is crucial for successful attacks and defenses. And I think that at this point, at Max OT, after having played 14 rounds out, these teams should be pretty aware of how each other play, considering as well on the fact that Rise Nation almost run the exact same lineup and almost the exact same strategy every single time. So OrgLess should have a good idea of what to expect here, and I like the fact they're bringing a Sledge. But we did see from last time, Crazy got picked very early on, and that was a pretty big factor in the fact that they lost this. But I think that OrgLess at this point, they just need to kill England, because he's being able to bring in so many rounds on this particular defense, on the gaming room and aviator room defense, and it's just completely sent OrgLess in circles when they've been trying to go for the plant. They can't contest him on the short angle, they can't contest him on the long angles by trying to plant and bait him out, because he's just going to smoke you. Either there needs to be more time on the board when OrgLess is actually going to go for that push, or they just need to kill him.
A bomb has been located.
There's certainly something that needs to be done to be dealt with him, because, like you say, it's just too powerful. And we've got Beastly there playing the pulse yet again in the vault. Going to be able to provide that information. Brian opening up the prone holes yet again with the Hibana. We've seen this won successfully twice on defense from Rise Nation. We've seen it won successfully once on attack from OrgLess. So the stats at this stage sort of swing in Rise's favour just a little bit, and moving into sort of the halfway point of the round, it seems like it's been quite a slow round. There's not all too much that's been going on in terms of killing potential, but good map control has been taken by OrgLess, and Beastly is still going to be on his pulse, just trying to gain any information as to where the push is going to be coming from. There's drones flooding into the site, and they're going to be feeding back information as well. Brian maybe looking to set up a bit of a flank watch drone there, just so that they're not going to get caught out, as it does seem as though Yeti is going to be holding the other side as well. And, I think it might be Hyper that's looking over in Master Bedroom side. It is, and Statue, and he's going to come to blows with my man, but my man is going to win that battle. That could be crucial.
There was no info there. I don't know why Hyper's being that aggressive when he clearly just didn't know where he was. And yeah, my man just shuts him down instantly. Nades are going to come out, but again, as I said, they really need to deal with the smoke here, or need to start planting right now and start going for the push. One smoke is going to come out from England. He's going to be able to try and do that to deny the plant going through. Brian desperately trying to find his entry here, but they still can't get that angle into the smoke. So fear charges are going to come out as well from my man. They're trying to zone out the defenders here, but you can still see OrgLess are running out a lot of time. Another smoke is going to go down. Beastly still pushing out everyone, and England just peeks it out. He takes down Yeti, but the plant is going down while else it's going through. As he does take down Vandal, we've still got England on the board, but the diffuser does go down regardless of that. Ghost takes down Brian, but now it's a 3v2. Now it's all looking very good for OrgLess. All they have to do is defend the plant, but we've seen great retakes before from Rise Nation. Let's see if they can do it again. A man holding down the very nice angle here to try and shut down anyone who moves through. He's still got loads of utility. Beastly does know there's someone over there. What a peek from Ghost. Takes down my man with a headshot. It's all down to Crazy in a 1v3. Takes down England, and he's got two more to take down. No frag grenades coming out from him, and you see the diffuser is starting to get destroyed here, but no, Crazy's got to move up. He's got to get the kill, and he gets the double kill. Oh my god, Crazy just goes huge, and he gets a 3k to end out the series. And there we go, OrgLess take the victory 2-0 in max overtime on Villa. What a series.
What a way to do it in style. Crazy there, going absolutely crazy toward the end, and just holding the post plan absolutely perfectly, peeking out at the right time. and getting the job done. Certainly well deserved from OrgLess. I feel like they came into their own later on into that game, and they really dug deep to pick up those rounds, because it was evident that there were times in that game where they were struggling. I mean, you can just see by the spread of kills there on OrgLess, they've got 4 guys on over 10 kills, and the 5th on 9. So, you know, hell of a game.